OURSTORY Media here. No sound effects needed. Nature speaks for us.
In the rainstorm.
In the rainstorm. We gather here today for the daily ritual of burning the herb.
Every day.
Every day, pretty much.
A blunt a day keeps the doctor away.
And we were just talking earlier really about we always talk about a wide array of shit, but what's been on my mind lately is really just like how people let their ego control them more than anything. You can have all the right answers in your head, but you will not act on it as long as your ego feel like it's going to suffer, it's going to be harmed, you feel me? In a way where you worried about the family around you, you worry about your friends, you worry about school, you just stressing yourself out day by day. But when it comes to actual knowledge, you won't let any stress into your brain, you feel me? Like, oh yeah, I'm not going to question whether or not my food is harmful to me. That's too much stress. I'm not going to go out there and pay for more food. I'm not going to pay more money for healthier food. That's too much stress. But I will, goddamn, make sure I stress myself out to get some weed or some drugs or some
new
or a
J's.
bitch or some new J's or something I know in the end is not worth it, you feel me? We have to really address this. Like, why? Let's ask the question, why at this point in time are we waking up but so many of our people are still stagnant? A lot of people would say it's because certain people are chosen and shit. But in my opinion, that comes from the white man. There's no such thing as manifest destiny in a human being. It really just comes down to us being selfish and egotistical.
When people do something I don't like, say Christians, for example, not knocking any religion, you free to believe in whatever you believe in.
Just do research on that shit.
Yeah, of course. But this is what I say. People believe shit just happens. Shit, it is a nature and law of the universe, but people think shit's supposed to happen. Like, people go to church and pay tithes like, hey, I pray for God that he gonna give me a new house or a new car. If you're not doing nothing and taking any steps to get that car for yourself, think about this. Shit don't just fucking evaporate from thin air or come out of you gotta put the work behind it too. You can't just sit there and I wish I had $1 million, but $1 million is not gonna fall in my lap. Like, the materialistic things is not the purpose or the point of what I'm trying to say. I'm just using that as an example. Like, people are misinformed. One, a lot of people, we still have intellectual people in the world, but it needs to be more of us. Not enough of us are awake.
Yeah.
In other words, too many of us are asleep. And then we're not asleep because it's unknown. A lot of us are asleep because people just don't give a fuck. Like, I heard people talk about this shit, man. And like, not people talk about, when I talk about it, some people, this was the answer somebody gave me. He said, I know what's going on. Like, I know about that. I ain't going to just give this characteristic of Illuminati or the Rothschilds, but I don't give a fuck because that don't mean shit to me. And I was like, that's the dumbest shit and the dumbest answer. That has everything to do with you. Too many people are scared to fight. Yeah. That's the big problem. Too many people scared to fight or don't care because they have selfish thoughts. We're selfish as a people. That has always been a black person's demise. If you really look at it, we fucking take from ourselves. When people robbing, bro, they robbing the hood. Why are you robbing your fellow man that's in your neighborhood? Really in the same situation as you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Racism is real. They brainwashed us, and we still eating it up to this day. Like, we're not taking the steps to change this shit for ourselves, man.
And this is the illusion that we have at hand in our communities, the divine community, not just like fucking the quote unquote black community, the melanated community overall. The problem that we have is that we think that racism was one-ended. We think that the aristocrats, or what I like to call the antagonists of our world, which is just the opposite of good. They did not just implement racism and teach and beat racism into you. They beat that into the white man too, to make him hate you just as much as you hate yourself. Now, we are unaware of the fact that You feel me? We think that they beat racism into the minds of the white man so that they can have an advantage. But they beat racism into you before they beat it into the white man. They made you hate yourself. They made you hate your family. They made everything difficult for you to even have a family. So why would you spend so much time chasing your family when you could just accept the fact that you don't have a family at that point? Now, that's the mind state we have taken in. Just because of the fact that we have been fed knowledge of hatred, meaning like once again, it goes back to the ego. Our ego has been attacked to where we have been given the right to be free. You feel me? But it's so that we've been told that it's so hard to gain your freedom, and it's so hard to be healthy, and it's so hard to be religious. Technically. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But we've been being the fact that we have been taught this shit. You feel me? Yeah. And we just thinking that the white man is doing the bad, but we're doing the bad too, you feel me? Just by hating ourselves and attacking ourselves. But what I'm saying is this, what I'm saying is there is nobody to blame, but there is a line of events that are going to take place karmically to make up for what has happened in the past. Now, if you sit right here trying to blame somebody, that event is not going to take place. You're going to change the outcome of the event of that karmic debt, because at that point you're suffering off of your own choosing. You are a part of the white man if you choose to continue his method of racism, which is an illusion.
Race isn't real, man. We're all people at the end of the day. Race matters under a certain extent, but at the end of the day, we're all human beings and we're all equal. And the craziest thing about racism, it's a made-up concept, man.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing.
It's a made-up concept. You're not born with racism. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. You're taught racism. Yeah. If you can look at this shit online, pictures, and you ever go to a daycare and look, white babies, black babies, Arabian baby, whatever baby it is, all babies play together.
Yeah.
You learn racism from your parents, your family, whoever the fuck is around you that inspires you, you learn from. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, also while we hitting on racism, a lot of people going to not like me for saying this shit. This is not serious, by the way, but a lot of people not going to like this shit. I want everybody to know, or take a guess, what was the greatest tool used in racism?
I'm gonna say separating the family, maybe. That's my guess.
That was the start of the racism. Back when they killed MLK and all, they killed all our leaders and realized the root to the problem of the revolt. They needed to separate families, because that was how we organized and stayed together. Because when your family's strong and all the morals was there, independent, strong black women, fucking men and all that. That's where it started. But the craziest thing, the biggest fucking use of racism, the greatest weapon to them, and in my opinion they succeeded with, was Obama, bro.
Wow.
Obama was the greatest use of racism, and we were so blind we didn't even realize it. How did they keep us at bay? Put a black man in office. At the end of the day, they still ran that shit. If you really think about it, name one thing.
Even the fact that you could have a black person in office.
That too. It was the image.
Yeah.
It was the view. Name one thing Obama did for black people. I'll wait.
Yep.
Think about it. But at the end of the day, I blame us too, because that's partly to blame our fault too, because we fell at ease on that tip. You know what I'm saying? We didn't do anything. We wasn't going out voting and helping him with legislation and shit. You know what I'm saying? Voting the congressmen
in. It's not our system.
Exactly, it's not our system from the beginning. But the foundation and the fucking uprising wasn't there anyway. Even if the voter shit don't matter, bro. It doesn't at all.
It doesn't at all.
I knew that from the beginning. That's why I never vote and I never will vote. People and my grandparents hate me when I say that shit. Yeah, people fought for that shit. But at the end of the day, yo, the system was already rigged. Like, they choose president. Obama was chosen. If anything, Trump is the biggest proof of this theory. How we go from an educated man, lawyer and all this, to Trump, a person with no political experience at all. And now reverse this. Imagine Trump was a scholar and all this. Obama had no... That's like me becoming president right now. This is what Trump did.
Yeah.
Real talk, a regular nigga. That's the biggest proof, though. the votes don't count. And then also something else about the election. These motherfuckers been lying to us the whole time. Think about this. The electoral college, that shit is bullshit. It's rigged to favor a certain side. You gotta think about this. What is the point of us voting? What do they tell us? We go out to vote for the president. That's the point of us voting, right? But who chooses the president? The electoral college. What did they say? They said, fuck Hillary Clinton. But what did they say? They came out. These folks lied to our faces. They came out and said to our face. They didn't even make up a lie. They came out and said, Hillary Clinton won the vote. But Trump is president because of the electoral college. So if you telling me my votes count and the votes of the American people count and Hillary Clinton won the American vote, but Donald Trump is president, how do our fucking votes count? The system is built on a big lie. Yeah. It's a 360 view. It's a lie.
That's the way it's been for the last 3 presidential races.
It's been that way from the beginning.
And in that specific way about the electoral college choosing against the popular vote. Now, what I want to say to add on to what my brother was just saying specifically is this.
Obama had won the popular vote?
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying what the case that happened with Donald Trump, that's what happened to Obama the first 2 times. Mitt Romney had the popular vote.
Obama had the popular vote?
No, he did. I promise you, bro.
He did it?
Look that shit up. Mitt Romney had that shit by a landslide. You can look that shit up to this day, bro. What I'm saying is this. It's not like, what I want to add on to what my brother was just saying is this. The real impact metaphysically, well, I want to look at this shit from metaphysical / what I like to call a sane point of view. Simply the fact that we know that that race is an illusion. But they told us, they got us hyped up to feel like a black president was in office. Let's think about that. That's completely contradictory to itself. By the way,
but that's besides the point. Obama, brother.
Yeah, that's besides the point. When you get to the metaphysical shit, I mean, on societal level, yeah, that shit matters when you build the nations. But what I'm talking about is the reality point. We know that race is an illusion.
More black people died under Obama's watch than any other president.
And that's why they implemented the brainwashing. They conditioned us to think that they restarted race. They restarted race. How with Obama?
Race never died.
Race never died, but what I'm saying is this. That shit was beginning to actually not fucking matter.
It always mattered.
No, it didn't, bro. Listen to me. Listen to me. Give me a chance.
It didn't matter. It always mattered. Race always mattered, and race always is not going. I ain't gonna say always will matter, but as far as America and how they see us, race matters, bro.
The ignorance, I can't lie, brother. The ignorant term that you're using right now is race. That's a very void word, bro. It's a vague word.
But I'm talking about as far as the meaning is a vague word because the word is actually a fraudulent. But I'm talking about that's what I'm using to label what it is. It's racism. Better yet, their prejudice is hate crimes. I'm gonna take the race word out of it. They hate us, bro. This system is made for a black man. One thing, something my grandmama always told me. I don't quote a lot of lines from her, but this is real game. And this is something I really took heed to this when she said this. When you're born black, a black man, elite especially, you're born with 3 strikes already.
Cause you're
from birth.
Yeah.
Around the world, you go into a store, people think you're going to steal. You go around people are scared of you in decent areas. You know what I'm saying? We are look like look at it like this. A person, I'm gonna use this terminology. A fresh $5 bill to a crumpled up, old, soggy, wet $5 bill.
Yeah.
The white man is the fresh out the mint, top condition, needs to be everywhere. The black man is the crumpled up $5 bill that's still in the system, but they about to take it out and destroy it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. But what I'm saying, I agree with what you're saying, bro.
Destroy it. They don't see the value in it. They don't want no value in it. Even though it's the exact same thing, they don't want no value. If anything, that has more meaning.
That's what they want you to think on the surface, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. I don't do so much research that I figured out the white man actually praises the black man.
He do. That's why he hates us so much.
No, he doesn't hate us. He made us hate ourselves.
He hates us too.
He doesn't hate us. He loves us. He praises us. He needs us. He worships us. He wants to be us.
He wants to be us. That's why he hates
He doesn't hate you. In that point, that's the ultimate form of love.
All these murders and all this. That's not love what they're trying to do.
I promise you.
I get the vision.
Love, listen to me, bro.
You're right,
you have to see that
love,
love, everything has a frequency. That's what our That's what voodoo means. It has an energy. The word love and the feeling of love has two different polar ends, and it has a north and south end too.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is this: on the west end of that shit, which is the negative pole, love is obsession. You can be obsessed with something.
I'm not knocking that.
So what I'm saying is they are so obsessed with us.
Hate us. It's a hate, bro.
They made us, which is white people.
Bro.
What they call white.
Us in cold blood.
I appreciate. I know what
you know. They whipped us, made us fuck our mothers. You know, people don't know that term motherfucker where they come from. They came from slaves. They used to make the sons fuck their moms, dog. People say motherfucker every day. Don't even know.
But that came from their culture. It didn't come from them hating us. That's what they knew,
bro. You don't. If you
listen to me, bro.
Love,
they are ignorant.
They admire us. They admire us. But they hate us, bro.
You would have to do your...
Not all of them, because that's something I want to put out there. Not all white people are white, if you know what I mean. A white person to me is a racist, arrogant, one of them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? It's cool people everywhere, because some of my best friends are white. Some of my best friends are white. I'm talking about the best friends I've ever had. So every man, I will say, bro, every white man is not racist, but they are out there.
What I'm saying is, I agree with what you're saying. That's why I said
I agree. It is love out there because I really say it's admiration. They admire us and they hate the fact that we are who we are. That's why they down us so much. Because you gotta think, we are who we are in the dirt, in the mud. They got us in the dirt, in the mud, under the worst fucking names and labels known to man. We are the worst people according to man in their head. Not in their head, basically in their head, and how they put it out to be, and the reason they make that. And we're still great. We're still here every day. We're still doing great things. We're the best at every fucking thing you can. Hockey, even motherfucker, even fucking hockey, whatever the fuck, baseball, whatever that could be done. There's a black motherfucker that does a damn near better than anybody, if not better than anybody. They admire us so much. So if we had that power and that connectivity and that community, bro, and that togetherness, we're unstoppable. That's why they hate us, bro, and they know that we're unstoppable, and they can't stand because it's like rubbing gold to a fucking bar of soap. That they the bar of soap and we're the gold, and they know we're gold, so they fucking put raps on us to hide us from the fact and try to say everything in their power to take our credibility and our worth away from us, bro. They do. So the love, I do see that, because that's admiration. They can't deny it, bro. It's undeniable who we are, but they hate us, bro. You can't say they don't. They hate us. They hate the fact we are who we are. They want to be us. The point of racism is so that the white genetic can fucking survive, bro. Black people are always going to survive, bro. Our genes are too strong. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people don't know. Like, niggas out here so dumb, man. They think we was slaves for no reason. No, niggas. We was slaves because we was able to do that work. And we were strong enough to do that shit. And we could be in the sun for hours, nigga, and be regular. You know, when have you ever... I mean, nigga, I ain't never really heard of a nigga getting sunburned, but... Who gets sunburned? You gotta think about that, man. That's just as far as skin. You know what I'm saying? This is what makes me mad, man. We're so beautiful, and I see so much good, and I see so much potential, and so much shit in our people, but our people don't even want to see it in themselves, man.
That's because
they just care about the new Jordans, looking the flyers.
Once I did the history, once I did our story, not his story no more. Once I did our story, not just looking at his point of view in which we've been taught, the racism is the opposite pole of the white man. We still living in that white mind state. We saying racism exists, in my opinion, and we still saying I agree with everything you just said, 100%. But the way and the words and the image that we're presenting with the information is completely contradictory. What you mean by that? Explain. What I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this. If you look at the history, our story, and his story, okay?
Yeah. My motherfucking nigga.
So once you look at his story,
our story, that's people. My man just said, say that loud into there again.
You gotta look at two different stories, bro. Because you gotta look at his story and our story.
His story. Keyword. Guys, if you break down history, his story. That shit is fake. It's what they want you to know.
We're gonna start with history first. This is the most important part, honestly. It's the world that we live in right now. In order to escape the world that we live in, we gotta know about that shit. Let's be honest. We're ignified. This is what they did. They coded us to be ignorant of shit with words, because words are how you define shit. So if you're living in a culture in which has a mix, what all the English language is in America, the American English language is just a soup bowl of fucking languages and culture. So when we came here, when they brought us and forced us here, it was already an experiment. They were already mixing. They had Asians here already. They had Africans here already. All that shit was already popping. But the difference is they just changed the energy of it. You feel me? What they did when they came here is they took out the Native Americans. You feel me? Once they took out the Native Americans, they had the ability to make up their own history on this land. What the European had did in his story in Europe already, they had destroyed the country. They had destroyed the region. They hated each other. So they moved here. So what I'm saying is this. That's just this beginning of his story. His story started in America, where he had the ability to freely manipulate his own image. Now, when he had the ability to freely manipulate his own image, what he did was this. He forced his image on the only people he could at that time, which was us. Because everybody, no, listen to me. Because everybody else in the world was too strong-minded and had they shit together at the time to even believe what the fuck he was saying. They had to bring us here, make us stupid, and give us. This is where Christianity. It's deep and it's about the secrets. Christianity is the beginning of that shit.
That's where they taught it to finish, bro.
Christianity was the beginning sciences of American brainwashing.
Let's get back to what we saw.
That's what I'm saying. This is a part of it. Christianity, this is how they started it. They started with Christianity.
That was a brainwash.
And then after that, they got the Willie Lynch. That was an upgrade on that shit. Okay? Now, to the point to where they got the cotton mills and all that shit, and when they had the Civil War, you had to realize that America did not need the black man at that point anymore at that time.
Because they made their money.
They already made us do what they needed us to do. Why did they want us around at that point? Why did they free us? They freed us to lift us to the level of the rest of their slaves. The aristocrats. Now, what we have been thinking all this time is that the regular slaves, which is the regular white man that you see walking around, we've been thinking that he is the person that actually hates us. Let's look at this though. In reality, the white man, the slave, is an ignorant. He is a serpent. He is what they call a serf in his original land. They moved here to get away from serfdom because they owed churches, they owed so many people, from the banking people who are the actual people who rule. They came here to get away from that. That's why they started the revolution. That's why they started the Constitution and all that shit, to keep the banks away. But the banks, they snuck in anyway. They here. Okay? Exactly. So anyway, what I'm saying is the banks, they made the poor people ignorant enough to think that colors and all that shit matter. Now, when you were lifted to the level to the slave white man, you were still ignorant. You were being educated, but you were being ignorantly educated, just like the slave white man. The whole time you're thinking that you were free because you see the slave when you were a slave, you saw the slave white man having a better life than you, controlling you as an agent through the fucking bank. The banks were paying these people the money to fucking make you slaves. The only reason these people made you slaves is for the money that the bank was forcing the people to use. They never hated you. You look back at all their original religions, they praise the black man. They need the black man to be alive. They need melanin people to be alive and thriving for them to even be on this earth. The reason global warming is rising because the population of black people is rising. Black people absorb the sunlight and the radiation, so they don't have to take in as much. When there's more black people on earth, we take in more of the fucking sun rays and we take in more of the radiation, which gives us an energy, and it doesn't burn their ass. Okay? This is the science behind it. Now, in between knowing this, they pushed in a whole bunch of bullshit, like racism. They made the slaves fight each other in order to not realize that that's not the problem. That was never the problem in the first place. It was the banking. Now, once you fighting each other, let's say this. This is how they did it. I'm gonna make a great example.
You talking about the Civil War now, right?
No, I'm talking about, this is right now. This is to the point where we're at now. We are at a point once again where we have a choice to either fight each other or go after the actual enemy. That's what the Civil War was. They do shit in cycles. You feel me? The Civil War was how long ago? Almost 220 years ago. Now they about to do that shit on when 2040 come, when that 240th anniversary comes, because it's all about the stars. They gonna try to initiate another war. Right now they're preparing for that shit in your mind. You can only have a war. You can only make somebody go to war if you implant a germ, a system, or a motherfucking chip in their brain to make them think that they have to kill somebody else. This takes so much work and energy that you would have to use a TV repetitionally over 20 years to make somebody want to go to war with a country. Now, the reason